right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome into the studio today Police Chief Tim Chatman. And Chief Chatman, I know you've been busy lately. There's a lot going on in the community. Last time we spoke, we talked a lot about trying to make sure that the community was following the social distancing, the minimum of gathering, staying in place, and there's still an element of that you having to supervise, isn't there?
COVID has not gone anywhere. Our guys have been working from day one when other people had the opportunity, and rightfully so, to stay home and work. First responders, we didn't have that luxury. We had to do what we were called to do, being on the front line, answering calls, trying to encourage people to get off the streets, and that's been a task. And it can weigh on you, wear you out too. So you got to be real careful with that.
By and large, how's the community been, and is there still an element that you're having to encourage?
Well, the community is I feel overall, I feel like everybody's trying to do the right thing. And now, just a little bit more encouraging. I think, you can get a false sense of security that it's over with, but it's not over. The numbers are still going up. So, if I had that opportunity to encourage people, make sure you mask up and do the right thing. You don't want to get, the family sick or yourself sick or any one of your coworkers sick. You got to do the right thing.
Now, being a pastor, we talk each time about your relationship with Christ, your relationship with the community, in having a position of authority in two ways, how that affects the way you do your job, the way as a law enforcement officer that you do your job. And so, we look at the opportunity to meet in the church house, so to speak. What's going on with your church and how you feel about things progressing as far as congregant?
Well, we are excited where we are. We've had great success, with social media, using those platforms to get the word out. Yet we've been very cautious, using a very, very small crew to make sure we had the elements in place to get the telecast, edited and out to the masses. So we went from a large congregation down to 7. And it was a change of preaching to the pews. So you have to change your mindset from preaching to an empty church to preaching to real people who are watching the program at their homes. And I started looking at it differently and really I really enjoy it, because we've turned our homes into a sanctuary. And I've always been an advocate. Whatever you do at church, do it at your home. If you can praise God in church, praise God at your home or in your home. If you can sing to the Lord from the assignment of a choir or praise team leader or whatever that is, do that in your home. Involve your children, involve your spouse. So now, we have entered into this place called pandemic, that now we see the purpose of the real church. As we were talking earlier, it's not the intent of God for us to just assemble in a place. Yes, he wants that, but also spread that word out to the masses in our community and get outside of those walls where we've fallen, comfortable, and get outside of the walls and really tell the story and be that example to a dying world.
Amen to that. Crime doesn't stop when a pandemic breaks out, though, does it?
No, sir. No, sir. Crime has, it doesn't take a back seat to anything. We have, as I said before, we've been busy. It's been a strain on me making sure that my staff is safe, healthy, and we're doing everything possible. We have to be way outside the box to make sure we take every step, keep those cars clean, sanitized, keep the equipment that the officers wear and take home, that they are sanitized, making sure that they have the equipment, the masks, the gloves, the gel, the Lysol. We make sure all our cars are equipped with all of those things. And not only that, but even our building. We have to sanitize our building. We shut the doors, we don't allow anyone in, but got to think about it this way. Those men and women out on the front line, they come into the building.
Yeah.
So we have to do a lot, and it's been encouraging. It created an opportunity to learn more because we have to write this as we go.
Yeah.
So we've learned a lot, and try to keep everybody safe. And by the grace of God, by prayer, He's taking care of us.
Amen. Chief, will you speak to the community just a minute on gangs in our area?
Okay. Well, we have a gang problem in Dublin, and that's a problem. We can see it going down some. We can see it rise. It bottoms out and kick back up when there's a beef between, two different rival gangs. It's unnecessary, to tell you the truth, because at the end of the day, nobody wins. These are individuals who have purpose, but for some reason have chosen that lifestyle. I try to be very optimistic with that they'll grow out of it. Some young men and some young women don't have that luxury. They lose their life or go to prison. So we try to do everything possible with that to change that behavior through our programs and encouraging in other groups as well. Try to steer people in the right direction. But at the end of the day, it boils down to that individual, and it also boils down to the parent.
Yeah.
They got to do the job to preach that. We have a lot of things going on in our community to involve our youth with just our initiative alone, with our Transformer program, and we'll talk about that in a minute. With the GED program, the Second Chance programs to kind of bridge the gap to get them in a workplace.
Yeah.
We have a teaching component in our schools, and I'm excited about that, and have been excited about that. The pandemic spoiled our first graduation for our GED program that we partner with, Fall Line Technical College. And we have some big hopes for that first class. And what that has done with some of the students has been awesome. And so I just feel like when all this is over, we can hit the ground running again. And rebuilding that trust in our community.
Is it, I would think it'd just be like a personality of someone who thinks, well, I don't matter, nobody cares about me, I can belong to this. Is that kind of similar?
That's a true statement, because the study of that, if someone feels like they aren't loved, they'll find a place to be loved, all right? Sigmund Freud wrote a thesis about fit, F-I-T, fit, and it does make sense. If you listen to me, if you want to join some type of club, civic club, if you go to one club, if you don't feel like you fit, you'll go to the other club to see if that fit exists. So what you do, you'll search that out until you find fit, and then I feel more comfortable, I feel embraced, received, normally you'll join. It's the same way with a church. If you can go, you're looking for a church, right? You visit the church, right, to see if it offer the things that you desire, and how did the people receive you? Did they snub their nose at you, or did they shower you with love? Right. If they showered you with love and the word was what you were looking for, right, you feel more comfortable, keep going until later on you join. It's the same way, even looking for a house. Well, I don't want to move there. Well, this fits.
Yeah.
A car, Ford versus Chevrolet, Dodge, what have you. You look for that fit, what applies to you. So if you look at that, it's present there. So if you are shunned, right, and we are people of social gathering, right now it's killing us because we can't hug one another,
right,
and all of those things. We're social people. We love being around people and embrace, right? So if the individual is going through something like that, and they've been told all their life, you never be nothing, you made some mistakes in your life, and all you see is the doom and gloom. That's why I believe it was important for the Second Chance program. Right. Because check this out. We charge them with a crime, right?
Okay.
They change their life.
Yeah.
How long we gonna beat them down?
Right.
We got to give a chance. We got to take a chance, rather, and give that individual that platform. Let him. Here it is. Now let's see what you're gonna do with it. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to talk with individuals that we helped through a transfer program on truck driving, that they still driving. I was talking to an individual. He just bought his own truck. He was driving for a firm, so now he purchased his own truck.
Yeah.
So he's progressing.
Right.
Been to jail before, been to prison. But if you look at his lifestyle, it doesn't even reflect on where he is now. And so I use a couple of analogies. One in particular is the battery. There's a positive and a negative on the battery. The battery cannot work unless you have both. Doesn't that sound familiar? Romans 8 verse 28. Romans 8 verse 28. And we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God and to those that are called according to his purpose. The problem with when we recite that, we miss the most important part. And we know. You got to know that all things work together. Because without knowing, you would never embrace, okay, I made some messes in my life, but I'm going to turn my life around.
Yeah.
We have to create that platform to be able to meet that person halfway. The truth of the matter is, all of us have done some wrong. You may not have been caught at it.
Right.
Now, that's the conversation people don't want to have.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, somebody gave me a chance. Somebody gave you a chance.
That's right.
We have to give someone that chance and be willing to take a risk. You will never know unless you try. Now, where I look at it, I would rather try and fail versus not trying
Right.
and failing. And this is the next caveat. What if you don't give another person another opportunity? What job market can they work at? A man is going to eat, whether you like it or not. We may not have been there. We've been blessed. So what if you can't find a job and you have children? You have a wife. You're trying to put food on the table. This don't sound good, does it?
No.
But at the end of the day, you're going to do what you got to do to make ends meet.
Yep.
That's the conversation people don't want to have. Why not meet people halfway? You trying to change your life? I'm your man. We're going to make it happen. So that is the really the nuts and bolts of what transformer is. Transformer. Romans 12, verse number 2. Be not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. It all starts here. We got to transform. We were not born to be criminals. We're born to be in the image of God, to do the right thing.
Yeah. Here with Chief Chatman, we have more to cover, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank, big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future. That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter. Member FDIC.
Summer's here and we're at Roach Farm and Garden. Time to treat your feet. We have a full line of Georgia boots and a new shipment of Twisted X boots and shoes. And while you're getting your boots, grab a pair or two of Carhartt pants. Make your honey happy, our greenhouse stays full with new shipments of plants every day. From your yard, small garden, or 1,000-acre farm. Roach Farm and Garden carries all your seeds, fertilizer, pest, and weed control supplies. Special projects around the house or farm? Roach Farm and Garden has all your bolts, screws, nails, welding, and electrical and plumbing supplies. Don't forget, we have a full line of pet supplies and feed for anything from chickens all the way to horses. While you're in, check out our new batch of bunnies. So come check us out at Roach Farm and Garden, 2 locations, Dublin and Wrightsville.
Well, Chief Chatman, we're looking at opportunities to have unity.
Right.
Not just in our community, but all over the nation.
Yes, sir.
We're looking for Unity and justice is what I hear from so many people, and I'm like-minded with that. I want there to be unity, but I want there to be justice. Right now, we just live in some tough times, and I guess things have come to a head that should have come to a head a long time ago. Something should have been done about it a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, but we look at you, and you are a officer of the law. You've been trained by the very best. You uphold the law. It's your responsibility to make sure that the officers we have in our community are servants to the people, and that they conduct themselves that way, that they're trained properly. You're looking at it from two perspectives.
Right.
You're a black man.
Right.
You relate to what your people have gone through.
Right.
And so what's your take on it right now, as far as not just our community, but throughout the United States? What's your take on everything?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, you see me in a position, but you don't see my pain. You don't know what I've been through. I've been pulled over because of the color of my skin with no reason, and actually was a special agent with the GBI when I was pulled over. I got several stories, not one. I know the pain with that. I'm pissed off just like everybody else. I'm sick and I'm tired of this kind of stuff. You know why? Because in good communities, and you know, we work hard under my leadership to build that relationship with our community. The moment something like this happened, I find myself now have to answer for somebody. I don't even know that officer. You know, it's over and over again, and everything that we've done to build up our community, to partner, to do the right thing, to me, it's been flushed down the toilet. And now you got to start all the way back over again to rebuild that trust. I get it. I get it. I get it. You know, it's just straight downright scandalous. It starts at the head. It starts at the head. I'm very transparent on where I stand. We treat everybody the same. The problem is, if you treat a segment different than the other people, you got a doggone problem. You treat everybody the same. I don't care who they are. It's the same. And so that's been the problem over time. I got a good friend of mine who's an attorney. I was using his office to do some polygraphs through my private business. And there's a statue in there with the lady with the scales on there. We know attorneys have,
Yes.
bouncing with a handkerchief over her eyes. I said, you know what, that's the biggest lie ever told. He said, what you talking about? That handkerchief over the eye. No, justice can see. It's according to who it is. And so, you know, if you got clout, you got money, you might can get off.
Yep,
Huh?
that's right.
If you're broke and nobody, they want to put you under the jailhouse.
Yeah.
My thing is, it don't matter who it is. If the crime fit, deal with it. And so, and I don't make no apologies for that. Right. I stand for what's right. And the moment that I'm pushed or shoved to stand for what's wrong, you can have my job. Because I'm not going to stoop to that level. And so, you know, we make sure we do everything with a cool head. I've been saying this since I was down, I've been at the police department. We are not perfect. You know why? Because we're human.
Right.
We push policy and procedure, and when you have a track record for standing what's right and being transparent, that helps a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because we have body cams, we have car videos.
Right.
We're putting all that stuff out we can do and take all the necessary precautions. But if an officer chooses not to do his job, we'll deal with that with speed. It don't take all week to do that.
Right.
We deal with that quick.
Yeah. And we notice a difference, I guess, Chief, if you don't mind, a difference in how officers were treated, I believe, in New York and then in Atlanta. Officers in Atlanta were immediately reprimanded.
Right.
A different union, they tell me.
Right.
And I guess that affects, and people, I'm assuming you have to understand a certain amount of that.
In Georgia, there is no union with law enforcement. See, that's the difference. And you know, that's the tough part. Let me also say this while I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Every officer is not bad. Every officer is not bad. But the problem is when someone bonehead like that man did that with his knee on that George's neck, that was scandalous, man.
Yeah.
And so people get upset and they can't see no further than that.
That's right.
On our side, we have to bring that area where we come together. Because I was sharing with someone, I said, I understand how you feel, but again, all officers aren't bad. Don't treat me like I was over there in Minneapolis. I wasn't there. It's the same thing if you walked in the store and the white male was in the store and was stealing. All right, you walk in, now the security guard come walking behind you because you look like the person was stealing. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Or if you was an African American, broke the law, and now another, if I walked in and you walking following behind me because of the color of my skin, that's wrong.
Yeah.
It's called profiling. Stopping a person because of the color of their skin, that's wrong. That's scandalous. You can't do that. So with that said, give the officer the opportunity, right? If they ask for license, give them license, be courteous, all of that. We get all of that. And but all officers aren't bad.
Right.
Now trust me with this. You better put on a good front coming to work for me if you got that type of mentality, because I don't tolerate that.
Yeah.
I will not tolerate that. Whatever your differences are, leave that at the house. When you come to work, you need to be a professional. And so we try to do everything we can in our community to let everybody know we're inclusive. We're not exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're here to serve everybody. Do we get complaints? Yeah, but thank God for body cams.
Right.
But we are striving. That's nothing. It's not like flipping on a light switch. We're striving. We have trainings, a lot of procedures in place. What went wrong with that situation in Minneapolis, there was no de-escalation. That officer that was looking around was not doing anything, who also need to be charged, my opinion.
Right.
He should have walked over and said, get off of him.
That's right.
Sit him up. Stop. We train in de-escalation. And so that is the difference. And that should be done throughout all departments, But I get it. We have to now reassert to our community that we're all about community policing and we're inclusive.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying when it happens on a national level that police officers, law enforcement everywhere have to take a step back and start earning trust of everybody again.
Every time. I get it. I'm mad too. It's not just black officers who are upset. We have white officers upset, Hispanic officers who are upset, or whatever your nationality is, that these good officers are really upset and really are calling for that officer to get what he deserves.
That's right.
And so, but if we got bad officers out there, this is not the place.
And so in a way it is up to law enforcement to get those people out, to assess that, and if another law enforcement officer knows of that, they have to put them on the money. They gotta get them out.
It's called negative retention. If you look at that officer's track record, he had a whole lot of stuff, negative stuff. It's called negative retention. It starts at the head. And, you just cannot act like the elephant is not in the room. It's in the room.
Right. What
are we going to do about it?
Yeah. And then you have people who come in and, from what we hear, incite more wrong.
Right.
There's stories of them, paying people to do this or that, or
right.
encouraging a negative instead of a positive.
Right.
And if that was my family, who knows?
Well,
you know what I'd be doing. So you can't blame people for being upset, even though most of the time, Chief, the family's the one saying, "Look, this is not a time for rioting and burning and tearing down." But still, you have to understand, after so much is just done and let go and done and let go.
Right. Like I said, I understand. This black chief, who was strong in his community, I forgot what city it was, he got killed, got shot Tuesday night. And he was a champion for change, and he lost his life. His wife lost her husband. His children lost their dad. And it's tough, man. This is tough, but I still have to be optimistic that change will come for the better. And praying that healing will begin. Like I said, it came to a head and it should have been done a long time ago. And this is 2020, man.
I know, right?
Come on. Listen, we don't need this.
Right.
Really? I had a older white guy was talking to me the other day, and he said something that caught me off guard. He said, "I'll tell you this, Chief, a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but racism is taught. If you look at these children when they're in pre-K and in first or second grade," and I immediately related what he was talking about. They loving everybody. But that same, if you follow that same class, when they get to middle school, things start changing. They're listening to what the parents are saying. And so I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And so it's not that I'm in the dark with this, don't get me wrong, but I was amazed at him saying it. And so change, this is where I'm going. Change must begin at the house. Because what the children hear you say behind closed doors, you're actually conforming them to be a negative person.
Yeah, to follow that mindset.
Absolutely. I just said it. Scripture, be not conformed to this world.
Yeah.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
But we know not everyone is Christian. People don't have that. But you have to look at what's right. You have to look at what's going to be good for community, for society, what's the right thing to do. And even if you're not following the Lord, what's right. And so in your homes, you have to look at that. You have to look at things that you say. Off-color jokes, we'll say, that it shouldn't be told, anything like that. And you can't say, you have to find the positives. You have to find the positives in other people in order to relate to them. You have to get uncomfortable sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I don't do good with jokes because something in that joke is serious.
Yeah.
You're just trying to hide it. I don't do good with that.
Yeah.
My family is mixed, but you know, I know the pain. My family know the pain. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna hold you, responsible for what somebody else did. I treat you with respect. You treat me with respect.
Yes, sir.
Until you give me a reason not to give you that respect. And so we got to take the high road. And I use that quote Michelle Obama used, that while everybody else is going low, take the high road. Go high.
Yeah.
And so, it's a challenge. There's some things that challenge me. It challenges all. But, I just pray that, we get the word out, peaceful demonstrations.
Yeah.
We've been blessed here in Dublin.
Yeah.
I'll support all of that. Yes, I do. Do it peaceful. Get that word out. And I'm just expecting change, man, for the better.
Right.
And, making sure that my guys do the right thing and encouraging everybody else to do the right thing.
Yeah. Again, many of my friends shared, and I like it to pray for unity and justice. That's what we need. We'll take a short break and be right back. You stay with us.
Hi, I'm Meg Greer Evans, and I'm running for Lawrence County Probate Judge in May of this year. Our outgoing judge has over 40 years of probate experience. No other candidate has that level of expertise. But in this election, Lawrence County has the opportunity to elect an experienced probate attorney as your probate judge. I've spent over 6 years drafting and probating wills, and I'm familiar with the Lawrence County Probate Court, the wonderful staff, and all of their hard work. I know what it takes to maintain the level of service the court currently provides. A judge who understands the law, who can run the office efficiently, and will treat you compassionately and fairly. I am the candidate that can provide Lawrence County with the vital legal experience that a judge should have and a passion for treating all citizens fairly. Please cast your vote for me, Meg Greer Evans, Lawrence County Probate Judge.
Hey, want a successful career? Start with an education that puts you front and center with hands-on experience. An education that will prepare you for opportunity in 2 years or less. An education that's fast and affordable. Most OFTC students graduate debt-free thanks to the Hope Career Grant, which offers free tuition in more than 63 programs. Think differently about college. Choose OFTC for an education that's fast, local, and debt-free. OFTC is an equal opportunity institution.
Back with Chief Chatman. And Chief, you mentioned earlier how blessed we are in our community. Do you really feel that way?
I'm blessed. I feel like we're blessed. It's not as bad as it could be. I didn't say we didn't have no problems. I will never say that. But we're still blessed to be in a community that I feel like we can talk and work towards a common goal. I do want to encourage everybody, let's work, let's do more.
Yeah.
Because we are not exempt. There's a lot of work need to be done right here in Dublin, Lawrence County. Mm-hmm. And I want to be the one to say it. Yes, there's still a lot of work that need to be done. We don't need to get complacent like, oh, there's no problem. Oh, no.
Don't fool yourself.
No, don't fool yourself. There's some problems. There's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors, a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's getting worse as the day go by. You know, it's just getting bad. So we just gotta pay attention what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want to do, I'm cool. I'm not fighting you because of what your party is. You know, get rid of the hate, whether it's a Democrat, Republican, nonpartisan, or independent. There's hate everywhere. Mm-hmm. So don't miss that. It's hate everywhere. What we have to do is really start respecting one another, get to know the history where we come from. Yeah. And I had that conversation, you know, Tim, I don't really know how you feel. If you don't know how I feel, you can't really relate what I've been through and where the pain coming from. Mm-hmm. You got to get to know.
Yeah.
And I think that might be a problem. That, you know, you probably didn't take the time to get to know, or probably didn't want to know, or whatever that is. I don't know what it is, but we got to get to know how one another feel.
Right.
In order to get to the solution. It is not a hoax. It's not make-believe. It's just as real as you and I sitting in this chair right now. Mm-hmm. So we have to work. That's the work right there, right?
Yeah.
To get to know and understand the pain. Mm. Yet with that, we have to take responsibility on all segments of races. All of us have to take responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, police, some of these murders, man, it's crazy. But with that, as a race, we need to stop killing one another too. And I'm not throwing that to overshadow what's going on. I make sure I say that right now.
Yeah.
But it's across the board. We have all this potential, and my career, seeing these young men and young women shot, stabbed over nothing, all that purpose on the ground, that son or that daughter life gone, over argument. So it's across the board. I want to be balanced today. And but yeah, I condone, make sure I drive this nail in the wood. I condone this senseless killing and police stuff. I don't like that. And it's terrible. But it also bothers me when we, as a people, just destroying ourselves, man. But I just want love you know, to abound.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, love first. If
Yeah.
you come at people with a compassion, with a love, no matter they're different, that's what you appreciate. Every time I get to know someone, virtually every time I get to know someone different than I am, I appreciate it. I've learned something. I go away from it with a new friend
Yeah.
and a stronger human being. But when we look at our community and how we can stay strong, you got to reach out to your neighbor. You got to reach out to your schoolmates. You got to reach out to the person that you come in contact with on a routine basis. You got to look people in the eye and speak to them. If they don't speak back, keep looking at them. Nod at them. Keep speaking. Build those relationships in our community. But you got to understand, again, like you said, Chief, where people are coming from.
Yeah, and you know, in our response, in our conversation, I try to be careful on what I say because I don't want to say the wrong thing because sometimes anybody can have the misfortune of shining the wrong light. I want to make sure I'm very clear. You know, I feel the pain. I support the protest as long as it's peaceful.
Yes.
I denounce taking lives. I'm clear on that.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to lose their life. I'm clear on that. We all have purpose. I just want to encourage everybody, but more so, you know, where we are dealing with the police injustices. It's not all police officers, but yet it is. We have to shoulder that because people are angry at the profession. You know, you got to look at it for what it is. But yet, I have to make sure I put the message out that it's not all the police officers. They are not all bad. And I got a lot of stories where my officers spent money out their own pocket. One in particular, Officer Tapley took money up to buy scarves and hoods and gloves for a lot of the kids in the city because they was outside waiting on the bus and it was cold and they didn't have anything over their head. She took the time to do all of those things, not because somebody asked her to. Her heart was in it.
Yeah.
And when our officers mentor these kids, have become fathers to a lot of the kids.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, man. But when something like this happened in our nation, I mean, this scandalous stuff, man. I don't know what this man was thinking about. It just knocks everything backwards. I do understand.
Yeah. And you know, when you look at it in just real conversation, Chief, you know, evil exists in almost every element of life, and that's just evil. And we have to step forward to stop evil. If you see something happening, call the law. If you can intervene, you intervene. But now, Chief, I got to bring this up. You know, there are people who want to get together and say they're going to watch out for our community, just individual citizens, and I just don't know about all that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
does that mean?
People want to get together, they're going to meet up, and they're going to make sure they hear that gangs are going to come into town, and they're going to be in town tonight, and they're going to, you know, wreak havoc, so to
Okay.
speak. And
Yeah.
then individuals want to step forward. They're going to guard the city, so to speak. That's your job.
That's my job.
Yes, sir.
Nothing good will come out of that.
Nothing.
And you also got to put filters on too. You know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of propaganda, a lot of stuff being thrown out. Not saying it won't,
Right.
but at the end of the day, that's our job. And you know, just relax. We'll deal with that
Yes, sir.
with professionalism if it comes to that. But at the end of the day, we all got to do the right thing. But I want to take you back to something you said I want to address. If you see something, say something. We're in a time now that people don't want to be involved. They want to say, well, it's a badge of honor, not a snitch. You know, that's cool until you are the victim. Now, when you become the victim, now you want the police to do their job. What have y'all done? We had a real situation like this. A family witnessed a bad situation, a murder, didn't want to tell us anything. Weeks later, it's their turn to shoot on the other foot. Now they want answers. And so in order for us to do our job, and we have been really blessed in this category, you got to take a stand to call a spade a spade. And I get it. You got a lot of threats, and that's all they are. But you know, people, they see it different from me, and I get that too. But at the end of the day, the police can only do what they can do. Now, we're fortunate to try to be outside the box in our city with surveillance, you know, trying to put them in strategic places to help us. And it's been a slow process, but we're better off now than we have when we started this program. And we continue to build on that through the help of city manager, mayor, and council.
Yes.
So we're doing what we can do to make sure we keep that pipeline open. We have a crime text initiative where an individual can text that information, no questions asked, no names. Name is not important, but we run it to make sure it's legit, and it has been a big help in our community. And we are very, you know, a department that's way outside the box in our measures to make sure we do everything to keep every area of our community safe.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about.
Yeah, and so people need to hear that from you, Chief, and that's why we wanted you to come in. We wanted to take on what's going on in the nation. We wanted to hear from you about our community where people know you're safe. Our law enforcement is out in full force. You don't have to ride far in the evening to see one of your officers patrolling, and more than one by the time I come from work to home in the evening many times. So you have to know that in coming through the neighborhoods with the cameras, but you also have to respond to the text if that's your way of going about it, and let them know what's going on and help, because eyes are everywhere these days.
Yeah, and let me say this too now, crime text does not take the place of 911. I want to make sure I say that. It is only designed to facilitate a conversation or to exchange information. You know, if you see anything out the way, call 911. We're on the way. You know, once again, my hat's off to the first responders, whether it be medical, EMS, fire, law enforcement.
Yeah.
We haven't stopped. We haven't stopped at all. We have been put in some challenging situations. In fact, you know, I'm trying to be proactive with what I'm doing. I'm setting up some counselors for the mental health part, because a lot of people don't see that. All they want is the police. You know, they look at us as a robot. We have feelings.
Yes.
We hurt like everybody else hurt. There is a mental health segment to all of this that you also got to focus upon to make sure that me, myself included, and my staff, you know, these things are put into place that if you need it, they're right there.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, on the olden days, there was a false sense of strength that, you know, you got to be tough. Death don't bother you. PTSD is real in law enforcement, just as it's real with our military armed forces. And so I'll make sure I'm trying to set up everything to take care of our department as a whole. To make sure we keep moving, you know, and process things the right way. You know?
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah. Chief, we appreciate what you've done. We appreciate what you stand for and the progress that's been made in our community. You know, we take our hats off to you, but I hear it all over the community. What an excellent job you do. And we just wish you well and safety. We ask you, the community, to keep them in your prayers.
Thank you.
Keep them lifted up, because they're constantly in harm's way. And when situations get volatile, we got to pray even harder.
Yes.
But you got to do your part too, ladies and gentlemen, just as y'all are doing yours. But I thank you for coming in. I know people can reach out to you at any time if they want to speak to you about anything. But again, just safe on the road and in your way, and we trust everything's going to get better.
Yeah, and thank you for calling me. Thank you for having me. And just know we're trying to do everything we can to be the model. We're not perfect, but we're striving to be that agency. So thank you.
All right. Chief Chatman, everyone.